Welcome in, everybody, to this deep dive. We're going to be looking at Chayne's Don't Make Me Laugh today. And a huge thank you to Dulaxi for sponsoring this deep dive into Chayne's Don't Make Me Laugh. This song's already making some serious waves, and it's clear to see why. Chayne's this rising artist, blending her British roots with the French upbringing. And it gives her music this really cool bilingual edge.
Yeah, and what's so fascinating is how that blend comes through in her songwriting. You can really hear both the British grit and the French flair. It's a cool combination. She released this new single, Don't Make Me Laugh, just last month, February 28, 2025, and it's already turning heads.
It is. It's like this whirlwind of pop, alt rock, and indie all kind of smashed together. But then you add this confident, almost rebellious energy. I mean, right from the start, that spoken word intro just throws you right into the thick of it. I can't do this anymore. I'm not your consolation prize. Goodbye. It's not your typical pop song opening, that's for sure.
Not at all. It really reminds me of some of the artists who emerged in the early 2000s. They used spoken word to add this raw, almost confrontational element to their music.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Think about bands like Linkin Park or even early Evanescence. There was this real power in those spoken word moments. And it's really effective here, too. It throws you off balance and immediately pulls you into the song's narrative.
It definitely sets a different tone. And then the music kicks in, and it's like this explosion of energy, driving bass, strumming guitars. Those drums hit you right in the chest.
Yeah, you can feel it.
It's like the perfect sonic representation of that goodbye.
It is. It's interesting how the music almost mirrors the emotion of those opening lines. There's this the driving force, this urgency that builds, and then those heavy drums come in, adding this feeling of weight and power to the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm really loving the rawness in Chayne's voice. She's got this amazing depth and this subtle texture that just pulls you in.
Yeah, absolutely. There's this really cool contrast between confidence and vulnerability that she manages to capture in her vocals. You hear this strength, almost a defiance in her voice, but then there are these moments where it softens, and you get these glimpses of frustration, maybe even a touch of weariness.
That weariness you mentioned makes me think about her lyrics because they don't hold back at all. She's tackling this really heavy theme of manipulation head on.
Straight on. It's pretty powerful. And she even said herself, Don't Make Me Laugh, is about how sometimes the people closest to you aren't completely honest and might blur the truth to their own ends. I think it's called manipulation. Is a pretty powerful statement delivered with this blend of wit and sharpness.
Yeah, that blend is so effective. The lyrics hit you with this directness, but they're also so relatable. They make you think about your own experiences and relationships. I have to admit, this song stays with me long after it's over.
Yeah, that's the mark of a truly great song, isn't it?
Right.
It makes you think, it makes you feel, and it stays with you. And the way Chayne combines those raw lyrics with this energetic musical backdrop is really masterful. Each element, the drums, the bass, the lead guitar, they all play a vital role in creating this sonic world that perfectly complements the lyrical content.
Yeah, speaking of the musical backdrop, there's this really interesting thing happening with the production. It's like this blend of familiar and fresh. It reminds me of those early 2000s pop punk and alt rock bands. But there's also something very modern about it.
It's that mix of nostalgia and innovation that really makes the song stand out. It's clever. You hear elements of bands like Blink-182 or Paramore, that driving energy, those catchy guitar riffs. But it's all filtered through a modern lens. The production is crisp and clean, the vocals have this airy quality, and the whole thing feels very contemporary.
Yeah, it's like they've taken those classic elements, that raw energy, the catchy hooks, and given them a modern makeover. And that's what makes it so accessible. It appeals to those of us who grew up listening to that kind of music. But it also has this freshness that speaks to a younger generation. It's like best of both worlds.
Yeah.
And one thing that really strikes me is how the song manages to be both high energy and emotionally resonant.
Yeah.
It's a song you can dance to, but it also makes you think, makes you feel things deeply.
Yeah, that duality is what makes it so compelling. You have this driving, almost anthemic energy on the one hand, and then these lyrics that deal with some pretty complex emotions. Frustration, betrayal, the feeling of being undermined. And Chayne's vocal performance really brings that duality to life. The way her voice fluctuates between strength and vulnerability, it mirrors those emotional shifts in the lyrics perfectly.
Totally. And the production plays a huge role in that as well.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier how clean and crisp it sounds, and I think that really allows both the energy and the emotion to shine through. Nothing feels overcrowded or muddled. Every element has space to breathe.
Exactly. And that careful attention to detail, that clarity in the production, it's a hallmark of Chayne's work.
Yeah.
You can tell that she's a meticulous artist, someone who really cares about crafting a complete sonic experience.
It's like each piece of the puzzle fits perfectly, creating this bigger picture that's both sonically satisfying and emotionally impactful. And it's not just the sound, it's the message too. It's inspiring to hear an artist like Chayne speaking out against manipulation, encouraging people to recognize their own worth.
Especially coming from a young female artist, that's a powerful statement.
It is. There's this real sense of empowerment in this song, this refusal to be silenced or overlooked. And that's something that resonates with people regardless of age or gender. We've all experienced those moments where we felt manipulated or undermined, and this song speaks to that universal experience.
It's like she's giving a voice to those who have been told to smile and nod when they really wanted to speak up.
That's where the title of the song comes in, Don't Make Me Laugh. It's almost sarcastic, right? Like she's saying, don't even try to feed me that line. I'm not buying it anymore. There's a defiance in those words, a reclaiming of power. And I think that's what makes this song so impactful. It's not just about pointing out a problem. It's about offering a solution. It's about encouraging people to find their own voice, to stand up for themselves.
And that's where those musical influences we talked about earlier come into play. That nod to early 2000s pop punk and alt rock. Those genres were all about rebellion, about challenging the status quo. So it makes sense that Chayne would draw inspiration from those sounds when crafting a song about finding your own voice.
It's like she's tapping into that same spirit of defiance, but she's doing it with a modern twist. It's a fresh take on a classic sound, and I think that's what makes it so appealing to such a wide audience.
Absolutely. And let's not forget that she's doing all of this as a bilingual artist, seamlessly weaving her British and French influences into her music. It adds a whole other layer of depth and complexity.
It's fascinating how she manages to blend those cultural influences so effortlessly. You hear it in her phrasing, her choice of words, the way she structures her melodies. It's like she's creating a musical tapestry that's woven from multiple threads, and the result is something truly unique and beautiful. It really adds a richness to her music, and it makes Don't Make Me Laugh even more compelling. This song is a testament to Chayne's talent and vision. It's catchy, it's empowering, it's thought-provoking, and it's just a blast to listen to.
Yeah, it really is. It's a perfect example of how she takes these complex themes and makes them accessible and relatable, and she does it with such style. It's no wonder she's quickly becoming an artist to watch. She has this incredible energy and passion that just shines through in her music.
It's infectious.
Yeah.
You can't help but feel fired up when you listen to her music. And for those of you who haven't experienced Don't Make Me Laugh yet, seriously, what are you waiting for?
Yeah.
Go give it a listen. You won't be disappointed.
Yeah, and while you're at it, dive into some of her other work too. Chayne's musical journey is definitely one worth following. It's inspiring to see an artist like her coming onto the scene and making such a powerful statement right out of the gate.
I agree. It gives me hope for the future of music.
Yeah.
It reminds us that music can be a force for good, a way to connect with others, to share stories, and to challenge the status quo.
And sometimes it's about reminding us that we have a voice and we deserve to be heard.
Absolutely. Before we wrap up this deep dive into Don't Make Me Laugh, I just want to give another huge shout out to Dulaxi for sponsoring this exploration of Chayne's incredible music. Thank you, Dulaxi. You're the best.
Couldn't have done it without you, Dulaxi.
And to all of you listening, Chayne's Don't Make Me Laugh isn't just a song, it's a reminder. It's a reminder to recognize your worth, find your voice, and never be afraid to use it. So go out there and make some noise.
Don't let anyone dim your light.
We'll catch you next time on The Deep Dive.